Dum-dum, Tweedle-dum-dum, Tweedle-dum-dum, Tweedle-dum-dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered, ducked and covered.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
And you
and you and you.
duck and cover.
Hello, South Africa, and welcome to Duck and COVID episode 14. I'm one of your hosts, Grant Towers, and we also have Matt Lewis with us, and Douglas White, and Leroy, our little mascot over there. And then we are joined today by Kelly, all the way from Australia. How are you doing, Kelly?
Hi, yeah, not too bad.
Not too
Crawling
bad,
up the
doing
walls
all
a bit.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Okay, cool. But before we get stuck into it, let's give over to Doug for the news. What's going on?
Okay. News. There hasn't been much new stuff since we spoke yesterday. There are a few new cases, nothing major. Global numbers now up to over 1 million active cases, and total cases up to over 1.4 million. Still sitting at closed cases of 385,000 with a death ratio of 21%, with 82,210 globally. The USA has topped 400,000 total cases with 365,000 active cases. Australia, as we're speaking to an Australian, is doing pretty well with 6,010 cases. That was 22 new cases in the last 24 hours, and one death, unfortunately, bringing their total mortality for the virus so far to 50, which is quite good if you look at the statistics globally, as the global mortality rate of this virus is roughly 21%, while in Australia, the resolved cases, it's 2%. So the medical establishment is really managing to handle this very, very well.
Yeah,
So well done, Australia. South Africa, we are still below 2,000, but we've got no new statistics. So it's still 1,749 with 13 deaths. We assume that they will release the other stats later. In other news, the National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union, NAHAWU, has decided to withdraw their court case against the health department over protective gear in hospitals for medical professionals, or the lack thereof. And they have said that instead they will meet with the health ministers, with MPs, to discuss it. And that's it for the news. There doesn't seem to be anything coming out of Australia, except that the Australian news establishment is talking about the fact that they've reached 50 deaths and that they seem to be in pretty good control of it. I mean, if you look at the way the cases go, you're running back down to the lowest cases you've had in a while. And if you look at your active cases, the Australian active cases curve goes like this, and then like that. So, I mean, it seems that they've managed to arrest new infections while assisting with the recovery of those who have been infected. So Australia seems to be doing very, very well in terms of handling it. And that's us for the news. Back to you.
That's pretty cool.
Sweet.
Sure, that's some good news to hear. I mean, yay, Australia. But I mean, how's things been going there for you, Kelly? You guys been on lockdown. Before we started recording, you spoke about stage three. Can you maybe just explain that for us?
Yeah, stage 3 came in, I think, a week ago now. Basically, it's anybody who is not a member of your household is not allowed in your house. So for me personally, I have a housemate and she has a partner who lives in a different house. So she has decided to temporarily move out and live with her partner during this isolation period. So because her partner wouldn't have been allowed to come and visit as usual. What else? So stage 3 is only 2 people are allowed together from the same household walking for exercise. We're still allowed to go do grocery shopping, exercise, but no, we're not allowed to drive anywhere further than 40 kilometers. Yeah, and just very quick trips to the supermarkets, to the shops. I went to the supermarket for the first time today in a week and a half, and I had to line up, and they were counting people in.
Okay.
And they were watching how long you were in there, and just there was security guards walking around ensuring that you had the 1.5 meter space. Yeah.
That is hectic, man. What was stage 2 and stage 1 like? Sorry, this is very interesting.
Yeah, it's all been very confusing. Stage 1 was, I can't even remember now, but basically, I can remember
Probably
stage
social
2.
distancing?
Social distancing, yes, but a lot of people were still going to the beach in Bondi and the beaches in Sydney, so they've just started caging off the beaches today because people were still going, and now they're issuing fines for $1,600 if you break any of the social distancing laws.
Wow.
It's 16,000 rands for our South African
Cheers.
10 to 1.
Yeah. And non-essential services are not running. So funnily enough, it caused a lot of confusion because they considered hairdressers and salons as an essential service. So like my job, I work at an art gallery, a government public art gallery, and we had to close 3 weeks ago because it's a tourism destination, so high foot traffic. So we're not an essential service, so I don't have work at the moment. But and all other little shops and restaurants and all of that, of course, are closed. But hairdressers and salons are allowed to operate. So go figure.
Wow.
You know, having a killer haircut is an essential. You know, I mean, you cannot.
Oh yeah, darling. Yeah, you've got to look good in this arsehole pose.
Yes.
Especially if you get invited on an awesome show doing some chatting with international guests.
It's so kind of you to call us an awesome show.
I think
So
our
to get
10,
down
our
to-
10 viewers will appreciate that.
It actually caused a lot of distress because I was seeing lots of footage of hairdressers and salon owners filming themselves saying, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to be classified an essential service. I'm scared. I'm close contact with my clients. I don't want to be here. But you see, so the government here is rolling out this amazing, massive stimulus package for people who have lost their jobs, who are out of work. So if you're considered an essential service and you can still operate, I don't think you get that assistance.
Right.
So they have to go to work, and some of them just are too scared to, I suppose. So
It's hectic.
Yeah, here you don't get assistance whether you go to work or not. So, yeah.
Yeah. Australia's very lucky.
Yeah.
Well, I just found it interesting. You were talking about having security guards, you know, in the malls, monitoring that you're maintaining your 1.5 meter distance. And you know, it rather made me think, you know, that Australia seems to be returning back to what it was originally intended to be: a prison colony with security guards around.
Yeah, you could say that.
You're allowed to tell him to fuck off if you want.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to like the numbers because they are really impressive if you look at it. I mean, to have sort of 6,000 infections and only 50 deaths, that's really impressive. What's the feeling there in terms of like how you've managed that? Is it just like, you know?
Well, definitely the social distancing laws, and it's all been very confusing. It's been confused as to what to do. Everything changes 1 minute to the next. Look, they didn't come out with a draconian law saying, look, you know, you have to not do this or whatever until just recently, because I think they didn't want to panic people. I think they've been really treading this fine line between trying to like force people to do the right thing, but also not implement it too heavy-handedly so as to avoid mass panic. But most people have been doing the right thing. Most people have been staying home, only going out for essential things like getting groceries and exercise. So everybody's pretty much been doing, well, most people have been doing the right thing. They've really been, the community messages coming out on TV, on the news, on the radio have been consistently playing throughout the day, very friendly, very, you know, come on, mate, do the right thing, Cobb, you know, do the right thing, you know, very Aussie, humorous, very, so they've been, yeah, and people have been doing the right thing mostly, so, yeah, and I think that's where the figures really speak.
And have you had any ridiculous panic buying, like apart from now toilet paper? Were there any like items like when you went grocery shopping where you were like, why is this sold out of all the things? Was there anything like that for you?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I personally didn't want to feed into that, and I just, you know, I'm a single living in my house alone now, because my housemate's not here at the moment, but I admittedly stockpiled cat litter. I bought bags and bags of cat litter. I've got 4 cats living here now. 2 are mine, 2 are my housemates. Wow. So I want to keep them. Yeah, I'm a cat lady.
I was going to say, so you are now.
And I'm proud.
At least you have enough familiars now to like summon a demon to help you.
Been good. No, it's actually been really good because I feel pretty lonely in the house, you know, so it's really nice to have 4 cats around. Like, and they're really good, except one eats all my indoor plants, but that's all right.
There's always that one.
There's always the one. But other than that, stockpiling, the toilet paper was just crazy. Rice, pasta, just staples, long shelf life staples. Even today, the supermarket, you couldn't get toilet paper. So luckily, before I left work, I took a few rolls.
You got to do what you got to do.
They don't need it. There's nobody going to be at work. Let's just hope the boss doesn't see this one.
I'm sure.
It'll be okay.
You've now been locked down for how long?
2.5 weeks personally myself. I've been 3 weeks ago, the first week we all got brought into a meeting at work saying, as of 5 p.m. tonight, we are closing and you guys can come in and fill your roster for the unforeseeable future, but the front doors will be closed. We're closed to the public, so you can come in and do back of house work. So we thought, okay, so 3 weeks ago, the first week, I was still allowed to go to work and just do back of house projects and do, like, you know, lots of cleaning and answering emails and lots of admin stuff. And then at the end of that week, they brought us in again and said, look, no, everybody has to go and work from home. If you can't work from home, you're going to be stood down. So my position is so that I can't work from home because I'm a front of house gallery officer. So I assist people with tour groups, and it's very sort of hands-on at the front desk and all that kind of thing. So I wasn't in a position to work from home. So I got stood down, but luckily I'm still getting paid for now. And then hopefully the government assistance package, which got voted in today, will start rolling out. But yeah, so I've been at home in sort of lockdown for 2 weeks now, but 3 weeks effectively.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And do they have a proposed end date for your lockdown?
Oh, someone was saying about 6 months, maybe.
Wow.
Like 6 months.
6
It's
months.
nobody knows. It's so hard to know what's going to happen next. Like,
Yeah.
so difficult to know. I just my brain just feels like they're going to call me and to come back into work next week or the week after, but I don't know. Don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah.
That's
hectic,
that's
man.
I mean, because that's what, because we're due to get out of lockdown next week Thursday, but this is now the question on everybody's mind, whether that's actually going to happen or whether it's going to be extended. And I think we're all just like, it's like everybody who we've spoken to who's further into this, like you guys, is like, oh no, they're talking about like months more, and we're like, no, please.
Yeah, and they love that word indefinitely.
Yeah.
Indefinitely.
Oh
Everything's
my God.
indefinitely, so it's like, gosh,
I just can't, like, the whole prospect of our lockdown being extended by a week is already like upsetting me. So yeah, like you guys are being extended to 6 months. It just like it turns my bowels inside out.
What's your lockdown like? Can you still go to the supermarket? Can you still go out and exercise?
No,
we can go to the supermarket or to the doctors.
Yeah. That's
and the doctors,
and only one person per household. That's
we're not allowed to exercise. I mean, outside, we can exercise in our own homes, but we can't take our dogs for a walk. We can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's pretty intense.
Yeah,
The problem
it's
is
sort of
even with these measures that they put in place, our curve is still rising. We haven't really arrested it dramatically. So I think that, sorry, Grant, it looks like we may at least get another week, if not more, behind closed doors.
At least
hopefully, with the way your guys are going, you'll be able to, with it be having arrested and decreasing as it is in Australia, hopefully you guys won't be around too much longer. Eh?
Yeah. I wonder if there's a difference because, like, I don't know if this is politically incorrect, but is it more difficult to control people in South Africa in terms of like the informal settlements?
That's the thing. We have high density populations. Closed spaces. And like the whole, like we can't exercise or walk our dogs because that's in our country it's sort of seen as like more a privilege than anything else. It's not seen as an essential thing to go exercise.
I must say, since the lockdown began, we've seen 13 deaths as a result of corona. But in fact, if you take the comparison of number of people that died not natural causes last year during this period to this year during this period, we're actually 224 better off.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's because everybody's locked in their houses, so they can't go and kill people. So we're actually got a death rate because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I joke, I kid. But I think that one of the most difficult things here is, as you say, very much we can't even police ourselves this country when there isn't a pandemic going on. While there is one,
on the best of days.
It makes it very difficult, which is why I think they came down so hard, so fast. Everything banned.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people posting on Facebook how proud they were of Cyril Ramaphosa. The president had his moment in the sun of being really, straightforward with it and really direct and really and like took strong action very quickly. Do you guys feel like that?
Yeah, no, I think he's
very much so. I'm like big ups to our president, man. Like,
honestly. Absolutely.
He did the bare minimum. For the country what they needed to know.
Well,
say it again.
He told the country what they needed to know. It's not like he did anything else.
Yeah.
Doug is always here for the other side.
Doug is.
Our Prime Minister is actually coming out of a really bad moment in the way that he handled the horrific wildfires in November, December, and January. He was a bit of a bumbling all during that phase, and he just got hammered by the press, by people, because he was an idiot.
Yeah.
The way he handled himself, it was actually quite embarrassing. And so he's now coming out of that period into this period where he's sort of done a bit better, but he's still sort of he's got a bit of a bumbling kind of way about it, because people are like, okay, what is this happening, or is this happening? Okay, so all essential services include hairdressers and salons. What? It's like, you know, there's some really like, yeah, there's some really weird policies coming out at the moment, and but I must say I'm very impressed by how they've rolled out this package for people. Basically, there's a JobKeeper package where companies will be able to pay their employees $1,500 a fortnight to keep them in their position for 6 months.
Okay.
And also there's like the dole, which is like the welfare payment, which a lot of people will be getting, called the job seeker payment, but that's like they've bumped it up to 1,100 a fortnight.
Yeah.
And then they're also giving everyone $750 as a stimulus I think in a few weeks, and then in about 4 months they're also going to give everyone $750 as a stimulus to put that back into the economy or something. I don't know, so that people can money to pay for stuff.
It's crazy, man.
Isn't it funny how we keep getting told that the captains of industry, the CEOs, they're the people that drive capitalism, and yet all of us little people stop paying, and the whole system's on the verge of collapse.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If capitalism is ever going to be brought to a test, it's now. I mean, it's already a tricky way to run things. But then again, I mean, no one system works. We have to figure out the new normal, as one of our previous guests, Kate, said. Like, there'd be a new normal after this for us.
Yeah.
Anyway, I must say that looks like we're coming to an end of our segment. So before we wrap up, Kelly, we've been asking all of our guests to give us a book that is worth reading while under lockdown. So do you have any recommendations?
Well, I haven't finished it, but I've just started reading Living in a Mindful Universe by Dr. Eben Alexander and Karen Newell. They are amazing people. Dr. Alexander is a neurosurgeon, and Karen is a spiritual worker. And they also produce a series of downloads called Sacred Acoustics, which people can download and use as meditation guides to help in this difficult time. So I've been getting a lot out of that stuff, because I kind of had a bit of a freak out at the beginning, like really freaked out. And now I feel quite a lot better. I've sort of been, learning how to be a bit more mindful about how I react to things, and doing a lot more meditation, trying to use this time to really just go inward a bit and refocus and stuff. So I'm living in a mindful universe. Has been helping me a lot.
Cool. That sounds like a good one to actually check out.
Like if you can't go out, go in type of thing.
Exactly. That's exactly what I've been doing. And I know it sounds a bit woo-woo, witchy poo, but like meditating and getting the essential oils going, and just doing like little ritual things just to make me feel better. And it's been working for me.
That is the thing.
Jared Leto, I'm sure, would agree with you. I mean, he disappeared to the desert for a couple of weeks, came back, he hadn't heard anything about this whole thing. So,
Wow.
It's hectic. But it's also great. I mean, if you can find joy from making a cup of tea or cup of coffee, I mean, then you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's sort of that type of thing, is to realize that every action you do in this universe changes it forever. Whether you pick your nose or I don't know, help an ant across a rock, or
The fly effect.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything you do makes a difference.
I know, and now especially, like, we all are so connected even more now. Everyone is sort of feeling very similar feelings, and it's a real interesting time for us as a species and the planet, and I really hope things do change a lot after this, and that they don't just go back to what they used to be in terms of polluting the environment and you know, all that kind of stuff. So I really do hope that there is some constructive change. That comes
I do
Absolutely.
too.
Constructive takeaway from this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
That's all the time we have, I'm afraid. We are about to run out of time. So let me just say thank you so much for joining us, Kelly. It really was fantastic chatting with you.
no worries.
Yeah. It's been
No
great.
worries.
Thank you.
For having me on.
Sure.
No.
And,
Okay, South
and good
Africa,
luck for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll check in on you.
I hope to God it isn't that long.
Yeah. She's not laughing. She's not.
No.
Like,
No.
Shame. Forget it. We're thinking of you.
I'm grateful I've got a warm house to stay in. And I've got cupboards, so I'm very lucky. And I've got 4 cats to keep me company.
So what more could you want?
What more could you want?
Exactly.
Dreams will come true. Oh, there's one there.
Yeah, and on that, guys. Well, that's it from us from this time, guys, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks, and bye.
Please go. Bye.
Dum-dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered, ducked and covered.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
And you,
and you
and you, duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing.